I be on the case. It was obvious that the Jefe didn't want me here. He muttered, "The late Alex Cross," to the other suit. So much for polite introductions and light banter. The two of them turned back to the famous corpse on the bed. Chief Pittman had been abusive for no apparent reason. I didn't let it bother me too much. It was business pretty much as usual with the rude, bullying prick. What a useless bastard. A real horse's ass. All he ever did was get in the way. I breathed in slowly a couple of times, got into the job, the homicide scene. I walked over to the bed and started my routine, the collection of raw impressions. A G-string was pulled partly over Natalie Sheehan's head, and the waistband was wrapped around her throat. Panties covered her nose, chin, and mouth. Her wide blue eyes were fixed on the ceiling. She was still wearing black stockings and a blue bra that matched the panties. Here was evidence of kinkiness again, and yet I didn't quite believe it. Everything was too orderly and arranged. Why would they want us to suspect kinky sex might be involved? Was that something? Were Jack and Jill frustrated lovers? Was Jack impotent? We needed to know whether anyone had sex with the victim. It was a particularly disturbing death scene. Natalie Sheehan had been dead for about 8 hours, according to Kyle's information. She was no longer beautiful, though. Not even close. Ironically, she had taken her biggest news story with her to the grave. She knew Jack, and maybe Jill. I could remember watching her on TV, and it was almost as if someone I knew personally had been murdered. Maybe that's why there's such fascination with celebrity murder cases. We see people like Natalie Sheehan on almost a daily basis. We come to think that we know them, and we believe they lead such interesting lives. Even their deaths are interesting. I could already see that there was some obvious and striking similarities to the murder of Senator Fitzpatrick. The element of kinky sadism, for one thing. Natalie Sheehan was manacled to the bedposts with handcuffs. She was semi-nude. She also seemed to have been executed, just as the senator had been. The news celebrity had received one close-range gunshot to the left side of her head, which hung to one side, as if her long neck had been broken. Maybe it had been. Was this the Jack and Jill pattern? Organized, efficient, and cold-blooded as hell. Kinky for some reason known only to them. Pseudo-kinky. Sexual obsession or a sign of impotence. What was the pattern telling us? What was it communicating? I was beginning to formulate a psychological personality print for the killers. The method and style of the killings were more important to me than any physical evidence. Always. Both murders had been carefully planned, methodical, very structured, and leisurely. Jack and Jill were playing a cold-blooded game. So far, there had been no significant slip-ups that I knew of. The only physical evidence left at the scenes was intentional. The notes. Sexual fantasy was obvious, both in exhibiting the female on her bed and, in the senator's case, male mutilation. Did Jack and Jill have trouble with sex? My initial impression was that both killers were white, somewhere between the ages of 30 and 45, probably closer to the latter, based on the high level of organization in both murders. I suspected well above average intelligence, but also persuasiveness and physical attractiveness. That was particularly telling and bizarre to me, since the killers had managed to get inside the celebrities' apartments. It was the best clue we had. There was much more for me to take in, and I did, madly scribbling away in my notepad. Occasionally, the Jefe looked my way and glared at me, checking up on me. I wanted to go at him. He represented so many things that were wrong with the department, the Washington PD.